This is the It's My Time podcast with Asher Tchoua.
How you been, man? Catch me up. I feel like we met in 2020 and then 2020 happened and then now we're here.
Yeah, man. Miami was really cool when we all met up there for the mastermind. Definitely big ups to Nikki and their whole crew at Beast Mode. Man, I learned so much there, and I'm trying to apply it. Of course, it's hard to do every little thing, but
Right.
at the same time, like I'm definitely making an effort to do it. But I've been seeing a lot of good things, man.
Nice.
I'm just I'm just super happy for how everything has rolled through because man, I got some stories for you.
Man, I definitely want to hear them. It's like, so uh I know they like dumped a whole lot on us, but is there well, before I get there, let me ask the question to kind of, it's the one question I have for the podcast, but then from there we can kind of go anywhere. Um who do you say you are?
I am Gershom Kim. Um, if you need more adjectives, definitely God's son first. Son of an immigrant, adapter, someone that can overcome anything through Christ, as well as through hard work, dedication, and discipline. I used to be homeless, but I overcame and I was able to get my doctorate,
Nice.
listening to Eric Thomas every morning. But other than that, like for me, I'm a healer
Hmm.
that helps people return to the things they love to do or their purpose in life. Like a lot of times there's a lot of people that will get hurt from an injury or something out of the blue just happens. They can't live their purpose.
Hmm.
I'm the dude that comes to help them be able to return to that so they can handle the physical activity and the demands that whatever their purpose is requires them to do. So
Gotcha.
that's that's kind of a brief synopsis. Of course, we can get nitty gritty in there for sure.
Gotcha. Are you using your headphones or
Yes,
earpieces?
yes,
I was
sir.
I was wondering, can you try it without it for a second? I don't know
Yeah,
if
for
the
sure.
sound's coming in muffled or maybe that's just me.
Maybe it's my
'Cause
hair.
but I figured we might as well troubleshoot on the spot that way. It's like if it goes too far along, it's like, "Oh man, maybe I should have said something sooner." Uh,
Close that off. I'll raise that up. Speaker. Can you hear me better?
yeah. Oh, that's much better.
Okay, cool. It must have been my hair. My hair's getting long now, man.
I see that. I was like, "Man, you going with the I'm not sure what the appropriate reference is, or I'm pretty sure I'll come up with a name and it's like, nope, completely wrong person, wrong heritage, wrong background, wrong everything."
I don't know. I'm trying to go with the Fabio. I can't believe it's not butter mixed with Bruce Lee. Maybe Jackie Chan from Shanghai Noon when he had the long hair with the braids. With
Yeah.
maybe I'm trying to go for something like that.
Have you thought about braiding it in the back or maybe just doing like the one pigtail?
Uh, I have thought about it. I've thought about getting it corn rolled up as
Mm,
well too. My hair is kind of thin though, so it makes it a little bit difficult. But I
gotcha.
mean, man, I'm up to try anything, man. There's some people here at the gym, man, which I'm super thankful to be around. But
Hmm.
they'll corn roll their hairs up. There's a Pakistani
Hmm.
crew, but like
Yeah,
they roll it up, and man, I'm not gonna lie, they look really badass.
right. Hey man, whatever works, whatever works.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. But oh, so one thing I was gonna say, like you mentioned, we definitely met in Miami and went through like the mastermind with the brand prep, beast mode digital, and really just seeing like the amount of information they provided and the content for how it's learning how to talk to an audience or really honing in on what your gifting is and understanding how do I use that to reach the people I'm trying to reach. What's something you learned from it? Because for me, when I was there, I was almost like I'm just starting. Like I'm trying to do this podcast thing. I don't know if I have an audience yet. I don't know if it's my gifting yet, quote unquote, or talent, but I was like, it's something fun I found, and I want to do it well, and hopefully it reaches some people. But that was my thought at the time. But what was your take?
For me, man, I learned so much that weekend, not only with the mastermind, but also the one percenters club as well too. And man, for Beast Most Digital, definitely one of the big takeaways for me in my social media game is, one, be super authentic with who I am and share my message, but at the same time try to meet your viewers where they are, right?
Gotcha.
So Bruce Lee tells me, Bruce Lee has this quote that says, you should be like water, right? So really the quote is, empty your mind, be formless, shapeless like water. If water's poured into a cup, it becomes a cup. If water's poured in a teapot, it becomes a teapot. If water is poured in a bottle, it becomes a bottle. Now water can flow or it can crash, so be water, my friends, right? So that quote in itself like shows me that, one, water will always be water no matter what. So you got to be true to yourself. Two, when you are interacting with somebody else outside of who you are, you want to meet them where they are. If they're a bottle, if they're a teapot, if they're a cup, if they're a bowl, whatever it is, you want to be able to adapt with that without losing who you are, essentially, right? And that in itself, that's the best way that we can connect, because a lot of people, they don't care what you know until they know that you care, right? So that's the first thing, is one, meeting them where they are. And then also for me, the second takeaway was really, I got to be more organized. I got to set up the schedule. That's not my superpower. I'm a go, and like, let's get it done. And like, let me support as many people as I can. But so for me, I have to set up the calendar. I have to make sure I keep myself accountable. If I'm like, I'm going to post on this day, I got to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. I mean, of course, when I look back, I was like, oh man, I wish I did this, of course. But, they always say a mistake never turns into a failure if you learn from it. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I'll take my small victories, but there's a lot of lessons I'm learning too at the same time. So those are the two big takeaways that I took away from Beast Most Digital. But man, I mean, the content that was in that mastermind was super fire. I mean, I was able to, shake ET's hand, first time, which was really, really life-changing for me, because, he was the guy that helped me get my doctorate, that helped me get out of homelessness and stop stealing from farmers. Because I mean, I didn't have money, so I had to eat somehow in Michigan. So I would steal fruit, mainly corn, apple, grapes were my main three staples. And even just the bike ride of 14 miles one way, I would have ET in my ear. And that was the thing that kept pushing me. And then, of course, he helped me wake up at 4 o'clock every day, no matter what, to start studying 3 hours before the smartest kid got up. And, so like just meeting him was just such an amazing experience. And just the vibe around him. I kind of always, whenever I shake his hand, I always think about whenever Jesus is walking through the town and a sick lady just touched him and she was healed. I get that kind of vibe, when I'm around E, or when I give him love, or just speaking with him, I just feel at ease. And I just feel like I'm more focused, because I believe that ET is like, a role model for the humankind. Like, I don't think there's anybody better than him, and we should all strive to be like him, because he's one solid guy. It's just all around good guy. He's not going to be caught up in anything bad. He's super focused on the things that he really cares about. His priorities are straight with God, his family, work, and the people he cares about. Like, I think that's super dope.
So you've been able to stay connected with him and the group since that was January 2020.
Yeah. What's even crazier, this is how Corona pandemic shutdown started for me.
Yeah.
Next month in February, right after the Miami, maybe 2 to 3 weeks later,
Yeah.
ET had an event here in Houston with my business partner Toby and Wigway, which they're affiliated, right?
Okay.
And after the event, well, I'll say this: before the event started, the day before, I actually personally met CJ and actually personally worked on his shoulder at my clinic that I was at before. And
Nice.
so he was like, oh, come up to the event and I'll make sure you link up and whatever.
Yeah.
And I show up to the event, and I mean, the event was fire. Even if it was for kids, I learned so much, man.
Right.
You ain't the boss of me, you know what I mean? Like, not everyone should have that book. Everyone should read it.
Yeah.
All students should read it for sure. Just so that if I had this book when I was in high school, middle school, I would have avoided so many pitfalls and all the mistakes that I made when I was young, or learning lessons that I made when I was younger.
Yeah.
So always, man, I mean, I love all the stuff that he puts out. But anyways, like, I was able to go to the back. CJ found me after the event, brought me to the back, and I was able to sit next to ET and eat jerk chicken next to him. So of course I'm on cloud 9, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's like a dream come true, to be eating right next to your, he still is one of my biggest mentors that I have today. Like, I don't have like one-on-one relationship with him like that, but I mean, all his videos, all the messages, APOC ministry, all that stuff really helps me to be in line with what I need to do, what God wants me to do, so that I can perform my 120 percent work ethic. So yeah, man, that's how my Corona, right before Corona, that was that. And then, so I was on cloud 9. I was super happy. I was able to work on Jamal King at their hotel and CJ's wife. So I felt like I was on top of the world.
Yeah.
And 2 to 3 weeks later, I was planning to go to Singapore. I didn't have a vacation for like 8 months. Like, even the Miami, that was a workcation, right? I was learning as much as I could. I wasn't really like hanging out, doing nothing by the beach, you know what I mean? So I was finally about to have a 1-month vacation to go to Singapore, Bali, Vietnam, Thailand, maybe Korea and Japan, and then come home.
Right.
This is March 17th.
Yeah.
March 19th, the whole world shuts down.
Yeah.
And so I went into the pandemic with losing my vacation, not having a vacation, right? And I didn't know what to do. And then also, because the world shut down, I wasn't working, right? And during that time, I noticed my energy was shifted weird. Like, it wasn't normal. I was feeling kind of depressed, honestly, right? It had depression energy to it. And I was wondering what was going on. And I was, that was probably one of the heaviest times I was weighing right around 160 pounds, right then. Okay. Yeah. So I was pretty heavy set with my food baby of 8 months ready to pop. But so when I realized that my energy was off, and this was maybe a month later, right? And I was kind of a dark time, to be honest. Not only did I not be able to go on this vacation I was planning, I couldn't work. So my work hours of almost 7 days a week, right, turned to 3 hours a week. Okay. So I was just, something was up. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew that I wasn't normal. I wasn't feeling right. I wasn't feeling happy. Something was really off, and I was getting a lot of dark thoughts at that time. So I actually went back to my DISC assessment. And of course, I'm a super high S, super supportive. And then I got my I, and then I got my D, and then my C is my lowest. Right.
Okay. Right.
So when I was reading through it, I learned that the thing that was making my energy depressed is that I wasn't in line with who I am, which is a support.
Right.
I wasn't helping people like I normally help. And I literally lost 95% of the time that I'm helping somebody to, I can't work. I have to stay at home. I guess I'll just chill and do nothing. Right. So of course my energy is not going to be right. And also during that time, I realized my sensory diet wasn't where it should have been. I was eating the preservative cheeses, all the bad fast food, mental fast food that's out there. And I wasn't eating the good mental vegetables that I should be eating in my sensory diet.
Right.
So I had to end up cutting out what I was doing. And I really added APOC ministry, man, ET's ministry group. And man, ET knows how to put on a sermon, and he knows how to talk with God and his spirit. And like, man, that was probably one of the biggest things that really helped me get out of that funk. And so there was that. And then I also realized, I got to find more opportunities, right, to serve and help other people, because I ain't doing that now. Right. So I became a Hakome therapist. And what's really crazy about that, I was researching it. It is in line with what I'm doing, and anything that I learned about this therapy, I know will help all my therapy sessions with my patients and clients, and help them to get to that next level. Because as a doctor, of physical therapy, we don't just treat the physical component. We treat the mental, the spiritual, the emotional, multi-dimensional approach, right? You can't take a one-dimensional approach to these multi-dimensional human beings. There's no way you're going to fix it, right? And so once I started to do that and look for different opportunities, then I started to work out a little bit. Literally, I'll just wait until like Houston's hottest time of the day and wait for the heat advisories. I get a big gallon of water and I'll just go outside for 2 hours. Use this God-given natural sauna we have here in Houston and sweat as much as I could, man. I lost right around 30 to 40 pounds there. Oh, wow. Which is really crazy. Yeah. And so that really helped me survive that beginning part of the pandemic. And as things started opening up, I was going back to work more and getting my energy right again and things like that. However, in November, I ended up branching off from where I was working, which I thought I was a partner, but turns out I wasn't. So you know what, it's crazy how God works, because God literally got me out of that situation to build my own with a group of people that, one, will push me to become stronger, a better human being, kinder, more transparent, more honest, just a well-rounded human being altogether. So I found myself a really good group that I work in. So I created this company called Max Level RX or Rehab X, and we are inside of the Khango Gym. Okay. And the Khango family, I'm super thankful for and grateful for, because without them, I probably wouldn't be who I am right now. And I know this is the type of person that I need to be. Turns out my body figure now is actually my real self. Turns out that's what I should have been doing from way back. But they push me every day, and we work out every day, right around 4 to 4:30 since the start time. And then we end at around 6, sometimes a little bit later. But we do this right around 5 to 6 days a week. And I do an extra workout just to kind of, whatever's not sore, but let's keep pushing it. I mean, I'm a doctor, so like I kind of know, what are the corrective stuff that I got to make sure to do to bulletproof my shoulders, my back, my hips, and all that kind of stuff. So it's been really nice. And man, I feel super grateful to be in this environment where I show up and put in the work. And man, not only do I get stronger, I build teamwork, as well as, they push me to become a better human being. And for that, I'm super thankful to be a part of this gym. And then, of course, with my business Max Level, I'm super grateful for how things have become, because my first month, I didn't know what was going to happen. Are we going to have patients? It's not like I've been in Houston for that long. It's only really been 3 years. So it's not like my network is heavy. Gotcha. However, man, that first month literally quadrupled what I thought I was going to make. So
you just keep surprising me with these numbers. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, wow.
Yeah, and that's what's so crazy, and that's why I say God is so good, man. As you try to, when you try to become that good person and be in line with what God wants you to do and your purpose, and use your gifts,
Yeah.
and you're with the right people around you, bro, man, God just gives you so much favor and so much blessings, and like, it's just, man, I don't know, man. Like I could almost cry because of how crazy it is. Because I honestly didn't expect it. I didn't see this happening like this. And like, man, we just we signed a contract with DeAndre Hopkins, the best wide receiver in the league right now. You know, he works out with the Khango guys here, and now I get to treat him. I'm treating like the great Owen Daniels. He won Super Bowl 50 with the Denver Broncos. He's also played here with the Houston Texans. Andre Johnson, one of the coolest, realest, deepest voice guys that I know, but man, he is an awesome character, as well as just a well-rounded, all-around good dude. And then also just the positive impact that I've been able to make in this community here in Houston has been such a blessing, man. And I just feel so fulfilled. You know, I have patients that are little babies with tight necks, and you know, we've been working on that and seeing the progression of that and their milestones, which is kind of my past history before I came back to sports and ortho. Was I was working for 6.5 years with kids, mainly with developmental milestones. Low income was really my specialty, Medicare, Medicaid, where families, they don't got much, but hey, when I'm here, now you got one positive person in your life to give you as much positivity. And like, they may not even know what I'm saying, but man, whatever ET was telling me when I was on my come up, I'm telling these kids, you know, you are powerful beyond measure. The world is going to be yours. You know, God loves you, you know, saying things like that. And I know some of these babies don't know, but hey, I can feed that into their spirit. I know that one day, like, you know, it will help them, you know, and maybe they can be that catalyst that takes their family tree to a whole different height, or a whole different level, that, you know, they can really, you know, experience God's love and, you know, being able to experience life to the fullest, you know? So like, that's awesome. Man, super grateful for those type of opportunities. And then, just working with all sorts of people as well too. We also just got a machine that does, that's like, there's 3 machines, new machines. It's this deep radio frequency machine that activates your cells metabolism, and it uses a specific waveform of 448 kilohertz. And man, this machine is crazy, very expensive because it's from Europe. It's from Barcelona. In Europe, they all know about deep radio frequency therapy, but it's super new here. And this company made a really awesome device that works super well. I haven't seen one machine that does as better as this, with connective tissue issues, tendinitises, with joint capsule issues, fascial issues. It also activates your stem cells to divide faster, meaning you can heal faster, and also strengthens all those connective tissues. And I don't have to go invasive. I don't have to inject anything. I don't have to stick a needle in your bone and suck out the stem cells. I've even seen firsthand, if someone gets a stem cell injection in an area and I use this machine, they almost heal twice as fast than normal. It's pretty bonkers how I never would have thought that I would have like these type of things here. And like, you know, that machine, there's only 3 machines in Houston and I own 2.
Nice.
You know, and it also does body sculpting. So I bought a machine not only for the rehab side, but we can burn fat, like belly fat, back fat, cellulite, double chin, like what is it, elbow, or like
the chicken wings.
The chicken wings and all that kind of stuff. We can reduce fat on the face. It's just a super awesome device that, like I said, man, like I never would have imagined I would have access to this or have funds for this, be able to make the impact I'm making. And so that's why, like, I'm super happy that I've jumped into this clinic with these guys, started my own thing. Toby Nwigwe is my business partner.
Nice. How did that happen? I was curious. You mentioned it earlier. I was like, for real? What's going on?
Yeah, man. Man, God is good, man. God is good. But so while I was working with this chiropractor, I was working out of this gym called Arm Sports. Super awesome gym. Shout out to those guys. But apparently Toby Nwigwe, on his way up into his college career from high school to college, trying to get into the NFL pros, that was the place that he was working out. It used to be called Republic Athletica or something like that. Yeah. They changed the name. But he shows up, and what's crazy is I was a day one fan, man. The first time I ever heard him was from a TGIM with Eric Thomas. And that's when he put him on. And that was before Get Twisted Sunday, before Content Flow. And there was a song that was all about like I'm grinding, and like so I was like all on it. I had that on repeat. And Content Flow came out, and I instantly became a fan. I was a fan from then, you know. Of course, they're affiliated with ET. Anything that ET and his crew does, I always love and try to sort of show as much support as I can based off, you know, how much love and support they showed me from the outside through their videos, and just for them just hustling every day, right? So I knew he was from Houston. So when I was in Houston, I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. One day on IG, I see him doing speed training at that gym. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. And my roommate at the time was like, bro, you're going to meet Toby Nwigwe at the gym. And I was just like, I mean, maybe, I don't know, man. That'd be cool and all. I don't even know what I would say. Straight up, the middle of my day, I just finished a patient. I'm walking out the office door into the main gym. Toby's walking right across me, man. And I was just like, oh. And of course, I had to show him mad love, and you know, his super inspirational, saying super consistent, saying discipline, being focused on your goals and what you want, what God wants you to do, making sure your crew is tight, with your family tight. And really, you know, even if you are not passionate about it, if it is your gift and that's what God's purpose is for you, you got to do it. And like, so I was telling him that, and he showed mad love right off the rip. And from that day, I was treating him, and man, I must have treated him a whole bunch of times for free, because you know, I loved his music, and I want to, you know, I see him pushing his car in life and his purpose. So I want to make sure that he can keep pushing his car. So for me, you know, I never charged him whatsoever. And I was treating him for like, man, a few years, now that I think about it. And, and he always showed me mad love. And, you know, I have nothing but respect for him and his whole family and his crew, and based off what they're doing. And nothing but love. If I can help out in the littlest way based off my skill set and what I do best, shoot, I'll gladly do whatever I can. And now I've treated his mom, his sister, you know, his Fat's best friend, and like even his best friend, you know. So like it's cool how I've been able to help all these people within his circle to make sure that he's doing what he's designed to do and what God wants him to do. And like, so again, I feel super blessed. But because I was working like that, you know, I mean, that's not an average thing. Most average PTs, after the first 2 times with a celebrity, I'm like, all right, man, you got to pay.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. He missed an appointment once, and he sent me $100. I almost sent it back because I didn't know what to do. It just felt weird. But I know Toby. I know he would have felt weird about it. So I ended up just not saying anything, not doing anything. I just took it as a gift, and it actually helped me out during that time. You know, I was going through financial struggles, but it actually helped me out at that moment. So I'm super thankful for that $100 that he sent me. But after all that time, in November or October is when I quit this chiropractic clinic that I thought I was a partner with. But once I quit, I had no idea what I was going to do. right? And it's kind of gut wrenching.
Yeah.
At that moment. It's just like, no plans, I ain't got no money.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. So that uncertainty, right? Human beings are afraid of the uncertainty. So like,
right.
I was freaking out a little bit. And Toby used to say during our therapy sessions, Gersh, if you ever start your own thing, just let me know, and I'll make sure that you're good and we can take it off the ground and send it flying. And like, whatever the startup needs, just tell me, and I'll make sure it's all covered.
Yeah.
And I was like, people say things like that.
Right.
It might be a joke. I don't know. Like, people say a lot, right? But
yeah.
I already know Toby doesn't just talk and just say things. He actually does, right? So when I quit, for some reason I thought about that. I actually told Toby I quit, and that, I'm kind of thinking about doing something different and all that kind of stuff. And Toby literally says, write out what you need. Give me the top 5 things you need right now before your business starts. And so I wrote out, all the things that I need, from student loans, rent, being able to eat, transportation. My man writes me a few G check and just hands it over to me to make sure that I'm good right off the bat. And I was just like, wow, God is so crazy good. You know what I mean? Like, I would have never have thought he would just give me a check like that right off the bat. And now, he's an actual business partner, and he put in some bigger money as well too, so that we can, fund the business and have it rocking. And it's so crazy too, because not only can it's rocking, he made sure that I had the majority of it. Because I've been talking with a lot of people before, I went full deep into my own business here. And a lot of rappers, and other celebrities, they wanted 70% and things like that for their cut.
Right.
Toby gave me that cut.
Wow.
Which is crazy. You know what I mean? And so that's how I knew, like, not only is Toby one of the realest dudes here in Houston, one of the kindest, just one of the dopest human beings that I've ever met. And I'm glad that he's part of my corner. He's my brother from another mother. He's just a good around dude that I'm just super happy that I was able to meet him, create this relationship with him, and now I'm a business partner with him as well too. I think he's gonna help me try to do some boxing as well too here, so he'll be my trainer as well.
Nice. That's amazing. I saw you hitting one of the bags. I don't know what that one's called, but I was okay. Get it. Do your thing.
Yeah, and the aqua bag. That's called an aqua bag. That's here at the gym here at the Khango Gym. Okay. And on Sundays, like I said, Sunday's my off day. My one, I don't work out day. Right. But I kind of work out the things that we didn't work out day. Yeah. But I've been recently thinking, you know what? Like, I need to step my game up, and I'm trying to be like Bruce Lee. I love Bruce Lee's philosophy. Yeah. I need to put them into action and start putting in the work so that I can do the things Bruce Lee does, so that I can maximize my life. And not only that too, like, if I don't pay my dues, physical dues here in the gym, then how can I get my business to the next level? How can I get my life to the next level? How can I take my relationships to that next level? Is kind of where my mind was at. So like, now I got to do it.
That's awesome. And what's amazing about that is like you said, just the exposure to Eric Thomas and what that did for you. I know for me, I first heard ET through YouTube, obviously, like a lot of us have. And I remember talking with the guest last year, or maybe the year before, and he's like, man, you kind of sounding like an ET disciple. And initially I took offense to it, but it's like we played it through the podcast. And I guess listening back to it this year and doing short clips, trying to promote the podcast, promote the guests, to just be like, okay, here's this guest that I talked to, here's this person, because the whole purpose of what I was seeking to do was really highlight everyday people. Because it's like yourself, if you wouldn't have stepped out on faith and kind of embrace what was in front of you, embrace kind of get out of the homelessness and kind of dedicate yourself towards getting your doctorate. And I mean, that's that's next level, because it's like my younger brother right now, he's studying to become a physical therapist. And initially I was like, yeah, that sounds great, because we both played sports in high school, and like you get the soreness, you get the fatigue, the injury and things like that. And like the physical therapist is always that person that almost becomes like your best friend, almost like a massage therapist that's just like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you just helped me so much, to like, you healed my body, you helped me just get out of that ache or that pain. You give me some exercises to do after the fact. But I guess like you, similarly, he's looking into going into like the doctorate program. And I was like, that's interesting. I'm curious, because I was like, is he doing it because someone's putting the pressure on him, or like he's whenever he says he's going to do something, he does it. So I'm kind of curious, what made you not only get like leave, I mean, obviously you want to not be homeless because you're in a situation that you're not necessarily enjoying, but I know like the value of listening to ET, and not to like put it on somebody else, but like what is it that made you not only get out of that situation, but what encouraged you and really pushed you to say, I'm going to go get my doctorates in physical therapy?
Man, much time you got? Not just-
Take all the time you need.
Man, one, so when I was in high school, I had a tough time debating on what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. You know, I originally thought, you know, I love video games and things like that, and the concept of gamification and things like that. So I thought, you know what, maybe I'll create video games. So I started learning Visual Basic, C++, and all that kind of stuff. Hated it. I realized I need to deal with human beings. I can't deal with a computer screen. There was one program that took me 2 months to figure out that a colon needed to be a semicolon. And this was before the programs actually told you where the errors were. So we had to print it out and highlight literally code for code, line for line, and figure it out. And after that whole experience, I wanted to get rid of it. So as a Korean, of course, your parents always want you to become a doctor, right? So I was like, oh, you know what, maybe I'll be a good Korean and then become a surgeon, right? I started observing and going through surgery observations at a local hospital. Man, human carpentry is not for me, man. It's one. I realized that they have a very minimal time with the patient. That's the first thing I didn't really like with them. It's like, hey, what's up? Okay, cool. All right, peace. See you later. And then do the surgery. Hey, how you feeling? Cool. All right, later. Bye. Next patient, right? I didn't like that whole environment there. But after one of the surgeries, I saw a physical therapist walking the patient after a low back surgery, you know, had a disc herniation. They took the disc out using a discectomy and a laminectomy, which is opening the back area where the spine nerves kind of come out to create more space, so it's not getting pinched. And, you know, it takes a little while for your walking to come back right off the rip, depending on the amount of damage and all that stuff. But one of the ladies, she had an issue where she couldn't really talk as well too. So she would use this board and point to the things she needed, right? I decided to, you know, shadow the PT at that point, and I shadowed them for right around 2-3 weeks. And man, I was able to see a patient that couldn't even sit up, be able to stand and be able to run, go up steps, go down steps independently. That right off the bat was just like, wow, you can do that. And I can have the power to help people do that. That's an amazing thing. So I thought that was really cool. And then me and the lady, you know, because I spent so much time with her through our therapy sessions, which is 30 minutes to an hour, usually 45 to an hour is usually the billing units. But during that time, you know, I'm talking, you know, and we're like, you know, making jokes visually because she can't really talk, and like she can chuckle, but you know, but we developed a really good relationship. At the end, where she was about to get discharged from the hospital because she was pretty much independent with everything and she was ready to go back home, she was lying in bed and she told me to like come close, and I like walk up. She's like, no, closer, closer. So I like come really close like this, and she like mutters with the most of her voice that she could do, and she says, thank you. And like that thank you was just like, that just hit here.
Wow.
Where it's just like, wow, I just helped this lady not only just recover from a serious painful injury or traumatic event, but now not only can she take on the world itself, like I was able to help her build that confidence to be able to come back to life and overcome anything. If you can overcome a back and neck surgery, you can overcome anything. Right. You know what I mean? So, and physically as well too, you know, just to see her jump, seeing her do, you know, balance stuff, like was amazing. Wow. You know, and because of that fulfilling moment, I was like, you know what, I need to be a PT. This seems like in line with what I do, because the thing that I love the most about people is their stories. You know what I mean? Like for me, like even heaven is like the ultimate like festival party, right? Yeah. And there's gonna be tons of concerts, music, you know, stages everywhere. It's gonna be tons of events. Like, you know, I want to ride on a lion through space and play pool with the stars and moons. I want to go into a cell and mess with the mRNA and see if we can create something really cool, you know what I mean, out of the cell. But the biggest thing that shows like who's the most badass up there is who has the most stories of overcoming because God loved them, right?
Right.
And so like that's the thing that really excites me about physical therapy, is that I can have that time, I can connect with that person and develop a relationship that, you know, I'm a forever therapist. That's what I call myself. You're my patient once, I'll always be your therapist. Whatever you need, I'm always there, right? Right. And that's because of the relationship that we developed. And because of that, like, man, I just love being a physical therapist. And then like, if I get bored, I can always switch my physical therapy field too, which is really nice. Like I literally was working on my pediatric specialization, all right, which is a whole different set. But that in itself, like I was ready to take the test. Right. I ended up exiting out of the pediatric realm and going into the orthopedic sports side again, which was my original plan back in college, right? Nice. And so because I switched over, I mean, now I'm working with these high level athletes that are NFL, NBA. I was a team doctor for an ultra cyclist. He did Race Across the West, which is a 960-mile race on a bicycle. Jeez. And he was a solo. He did it by himself. And he started from Durango, Colorado. Oh, no, sorry. He started from Oceanside, California, and ended in Durango, Colorado in 4.5 days. which is mind-blowing. This man, he's also 62 years old at the time. Yeah. And he's also completed Race Across America, which is called RAM. And that's like 1,600 miles in a 7 to 10 day race. And that starts literally same place, Oceanside, California, but ends on the other side of the country, either in South Carolina or Maryland. Wow. And he's completed it 4 times in all 4 of the different divisions. There's a solo, so it's like you by yourself. There's a 2-man, there's a 4-man, and there's an 8-man. He's completed all of those 4. He's completed it 4 times out of the 6 times he's attempted. So he's only failed twice, and he failed the Race Across the West, which we did before I joined on the team. I mean, the year that I came, we finished it all the way. I thought I had to call it twice. I thought we had to like call it quits, but
so you participated in that race.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't race. I was a team doctor, so I was in the van. But I had to make sure, you know, blood sugar is good, making sure he's eating, making sure he's hydrated, making sure any type of muscle issues. I mean, human body's not designed to do ultra stuff, marathon, bicycling, whatever it is. Like our bodies are not meant for that. Our mindset, however, can do that. Right.
It's like we just keep tempting it. Like, oh, come on, you can just one more. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, he literally had the David Goggins mindset, man. Yeah. I mean, he could have been peeing blood.
Yeah. Whenever I hear that story, I'm just like, oof, jeez.
You know what I mean? But he still finished it, which is
Yeah.
such an amazing thing. And yeah, man, it was such an amazing adventure. Like I came to Houston not knowing what I was gonna do, you know, and I finally found, like, one, a home, and then two, the right environment for me to grow, and then also the right people around me now that help me to become a better human being, push me to become next level,
Yeah.
and just to be a more positive impact to the world around me and to those that come to me. So super grateful
Awesome.
that I could do all that stuff.
I mean, so tell me, how'd you wind up in Houston? You said you were in Michigan before, right?
No, I was actually, so I went to my university in Michigan at a small university called Andrews University. It's on the southwest side of the Lower Peninsula of Michigan, really close to the Indiana border by Notre Dame, like 30 minutes away from Notre Dame campus.
Gotcha.
That's where I went to my undergrad and grad school there in my doctoral class.
Okay.
But my family, I mean, I'm border coast to coast, so I'm all over the place. I was born in Minnesota, lived there for 3 years, then moved to LA for 4 years, moved to New York, lived there for 9 years. My parents have been in Dallas for the past since we moved from New York.
Gotcha.
However, once I was in 7th grade, then hit high school, then I went to Michigan for my university, and then my internships were all over the country as well too.
Gotcha.
So I've been to almost all the states except for Hawaii is the last one I haven't been to.
Wow. So you've made it to Alaska.
Yeah, my uncle lived in Alaska for a while, so we went to go visit him, and I still remember we had to take a small plane and then a snowmobile ride to the town that he was at. Man, that was so crazy. And you're a little kid, and then we also went there when it was 24-hour light cycles. So it was really weird. We're like falling asleep. It's like afternoon. Like, you know, so it was just really crazy. I mean, I don't remember all of it. I just remember those little things. And then we went on a cruise out there, and I remember seeing a whale. And then I met a kid that had a Game Boy, and we played tons of Tetris. I just remember that. So like nothing really crazy, but I would love to go back up there and heli snowboard. You know, I'm a big snowboarder. Because I'm certified as an adaptive snowboard instructor for kids with disabilities and wounded warriors or amputees. Okay. So that's one of my big passions that I found while I was in Michigan, actually, right? Trying to find, you know, at that time in college, I was trying to figure out what makes me happy as a human being.
Right.
And the thing that I found that brought me the most joy was service. Of course, it makes sense that I'm a high S. You know what I mean?
Right.
Definitely makes a huge sense. So
you and me both.
I was volunteering at soup kitchens. I was volunteering every Sabbath at a kids' church, and this kids' church was in an area called Benton Harbor. It's pretty hood, let's just say. That's kind of where the areas that were gentrified. That's where they pushed all the rest of the people that were poor. All right, so it was really bad. And so, you know, the kids in itself, you know, they need love too. You know what I mean? They don't get that at home. So, or a different version of it, I would say. And, or at least a role model or an example, just to be influenced around that. And then I found adaptive snow instruction. I was skiing at the time. There's a company called Solo that I found called Special Outdoor Leisure Opportunities, and they provide opportunities to kids with disabilities, being able to alpine ski at a local ski spot, and then cross-country skiing. So Saturday and Sunday is kind of their thing that they go out and kind of help the kids and provide these opportunities for the kids. And then in summertime, they fundraise so that the kids don't pay for nothing.
Right.
And they get to ski and ride for free. Right. Gotcha. And my first person that I ever taught, he was 6'7". He was mentally challenged, right? It was hard for him to follow directions, high energy as well too. The proper way that we can hold and direct the skis, they put a ski bra, which is like this thing that you put on the tip of the ski in the front and keeps the tips together, so they be either French fry or it closes, but it doesn't allow it to crisscross and all that stuff or come apart.
Okay.
And then you hook up these straps.
Yeah.
He was so big, we couldn't use that. So me and one of my friends at the time, my friend is 5'5", I'm 5'4", so we're very little, right? Or fun size or travel friendly, we call it. And we were holding his hands.
Yeah.
And he's just he's straight up French fry the whole time. And both me and my friend are pizza trying to slow him down. He's just yelling, explosion. I'm just thinking in my head, no explosion. It was so crazy. However, when I looked at his face, man, ear to ear smile. Ear to ear smile. And for kids that don't get that type of opportunity to be able to go skiing, because usually those type of kids, oh no, that's too dangerous. Right. They can't do that. That was really tough for me, and that's why I love to provide those type of opportunities to these kids that were told no. You know what I mean? Or usually normally wouldn't never have these type of opportunities. And that's why I ended up going into pediatric physical therapy for 6.5 years after I graduated. Right. One, to make a positive impact to the Medicare or low income families in Dallas. And then two, my mentor told me this quote where he said, if you want a lion to become a real lion, you don't lock that lion up in a zoo all its life. You got to let it roam free, experience what it means to be a real tiger. And that way it can become a real tiger. Right. And that really hit me. And that really made me want to like pursue as an adaptive snowboard instructor for kids, and also to help kids in my local area, physical therapy, developmental milestones, and help them catch up. I thought, man, I was having autistic kids catch up and go way past their developmental milestones that I don't know, man, sometimes they got too strong. So we had to bring in a cognitive behavioral therapist because they were too strong. But you know,
what do you mean by
job,
too strong? Like
let me give you an example. Like I had an autistic kid, he could barely sit up and hold his balance and sitting. I got him to the point he was skipping on one leg. He was doing hopscotch. He was doing 360s on the trampoline skiing and all that kind of stuff. However, he was so strong. He had a lot of behavioral issues if he didn't get his way. And he started punching holes into walls and started breaking things when he was, frazzled, which autistic kids, if too much sensory input or socially things they don't get, then like freak out and frazz out and can have these negative like behavioral issues. Yeah, man,
Makes
you got
sense.
too strong. So
Gotcha.
we had to bring in the cognitive therapist. But, for me, like, my joy is that he can now do those things. And all the people that was like, oh, your kid's never going to be able to catch up. He's never going to live a normal life. He has that chance now. Right. And I know personally multi-million-dollar autistic people in Dallas. This one kid, I'm not going to say his name, but like he loves football ever since he was a little kid. Yeah. Right. And he knows everything about football, every single player, every single year. Right. What positions they played, their stats. He's so good with the stats. It's crazy how good he is with the stats. People now pay him money to help have him predict who's going to win in a game. He's a multi-millionaire, autistic guy, super independent. You know, he bought his mom a house. You know what I mean? Right. He's an autistic kid. He was told, his parents said, his doctors literally told him that he would never amount to anything. Yeah. And that type of statements I hate, because I had a teacher tell me that when I was in 6th grade. And I really believe that. And one, teachers should never say that. If you're with children, you should never give them that type of sensory input. That is a horrible thing and can damage somebody. Right. Yeah. And so I'm very anti that. But it was really because of ET that helped me get out of that. He told me literally that ADHD is not a disease. It's a superpower given by God. Man. And like that really changed my life. So if I can do the same thing and change other people's life, like ET has changed my life,
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna try to focus on and try to help as many people as possible, man.
That's amazing because I mean, to your point, it's like there's so many I forget who I was speaking with, but just watching Rochelle T. Parks, and it's like I met her through Breve University, which was
Oh yeah.
started and founded by ET. And just her big thing is that these words, like the words that we speak, they're so powerful. And it's so many, it's so scary, but it's so important to know that in the position that you're in now, and especially when you're in like an influential role, you're in a teaching role, you're able to impart not only in adults now, but especially with children. It's like the things you say to people have an effect, and it's like it will have a long-term effect where
Oh,
if you're not careful about your words, people will take that and they'll run with it. It'll either go in the bad direction or in a good direction where they'll just be defined and say, well, yeah, you keep your limitations to yourself. Like that's not my story. That's not my life. So
and then even on top of that, taking it
yeah,
one step further, your negative self-talk.
right.
You know what I
That's a
mean?
whole nother thing.
That's a
Like,
whole different ball game. But like, there's power in words, man. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And like, you can't be talking negative about yourself. Otherwise, your subconscious will hear it, and
right.
it'll actually do that thing. You know what
True.
I mean? So you have to be super careful with words, and like even the words that when I'm with like my patients, I try to keep it super positive.
Yeah.
You know, I don't try to bring them down, even if they bring themselves down. Then
Yeah.
I'll have to kind of self-correct it, utilizing some tactics and just kind of helping them realize, or at least say some more positive things so they end in that positive note, so that we can cancel that negative self-talk out. And that's like super important, you know.
Yeah.
Even like people for physical therapy, what's
Mhm.
crazy is sometimes it's not a physical pain, it's you saying that you're always in pain that causes your back pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you have to be careful of your words, and words are so powerful. And like, I mean, God says it right, there's power in the tongue, right?
Yep.
So like, you have to be super careful. And not only that, to take it one step further, you got to make sure you say the things you want, like by writing it, by saying it, by manifesting it and thinking it until it becomes a reality, you know. And like ET was the one that really showed me that, like, yo, I gotta write stuff down, I gotta speak the things that I want. Otherwise, I mean, you know, I used to be a person that used to always say, oh, I just go with the flow, man. Right. But then my mentor said, only dead fish go with the flow. And I was like, oh man, I can't go with the flow no more.
Right.
You know, I have to make sure that I focus, because where I'm trying to go, success, and where God wants me to go, that's upstream. You know what I mean? I got to put in the work. And, you know, also like Jim Rohn, one of my other mentors, he'd always say, you know, you got to tend to your garden, because weeds can grow with zero effort. It takes a lot of work to grow a beautiful mental garden. And so because of that, you know, I have to, you know, when I wake up, I write 3 things I'm super grateful for. I at least tell God 3 things I'm super grateful for. Then and thankful for. Then 3 things that I am looking forward to overcome in that day. Right? The 3 obstacles that I want to really focus the breakthrough. And then 3 people that I want to send positive energy to. And that's how I start my day. And then of course, you know, I'll meditate, I'll pray, I'll talk with God, I'll listen, and then I'll go straight. I'll take my pre-workout and go straight to my workout. You know what I mean? And that workout, and then I'll come home and eat, and then start my day and get to work, you know?
Man, that's awesome, because it's funny. I learned how to do that similar thing with a tool one of my coworkers gave me back in 2017, and it's called the Panda Planner. And it's like it has you do that, the three practices of gratitude, right? 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you're excited about. And the person that made it, I hope to connect with him this summer and see if we could maybe partner up or do something, because it's so inspiring to me that the way he did it was that he had Lyme's disease. So he had memory issues. He couldn't remember what he was doing hour to hour, minute to minute. So he basically created the system to make it, here's what I'm going to do on a daily basis. Here's what I'm going to do on a weekly basis. Here's what I'm going to do on a monthly basis. And putting in like those small wins throughout, and the repetition where it's like what you write at the start of the month bleeds throughout the day throughout the week, and also having a reflection at the end of the day and look
Yep.
at what your wins were, what you're going to improve on, and then you bring that into the end of the week where you review your entire week and you say like, here are 5 big wins, and then here's what I'm going to do this next week. And then when you go to the month, you're like, okay, here are 3 goals that I want, and here are 3 distractions I'm going to and here are 3 distractions I'm going to avoid. And that was big for me because there's like, okay, it's one thing to set a goal, but it's another thing to identify what might be a hindrance towards that goal. And just in doing that and looking back since 2017, that's like 4 years now. And like I started and then stopped at some point because I was doing it religiously. But what got me to start even back this year, after taking periods of breaks over and over, was that I joined one of the Facebook groups that they had, and they talked about, someone just set like a reminder and like a picture of their planner, and they just said I had to remember to use it for myself or make it work for me. Like there are the guidelines and there are the instructions in there that teach you how to use it to be effective, but it's like you have to make it work for you. So it's like, if you don't want it to seem like every single hour of your day is just like, okay, I've got to do this and I got to do this, it's like, okay, then don't do that. Just fill it in as you need to. So what I try to do daily is that I focus on writing down the 3 points of gratitude, and I may write down a few things that I need to get done, like in the task list. But then at the end of the day, if I get to it or if I don't, I'll try to write out within the time bullets that it gives me, or maybe I can scratch through it and write in my own thing and just be like, okay, I did this, I did that, I did this. That way, it's like when I have like a coaching session or a counseling session, I can just be like, oh yeah, let me just check my planner. I've actually got it over here to my left, and I can just be like, hey, this is what I've got. So for today, obviously, I had like our interview in there and like what we'd be doing. I was like, okay, I got to make sure that I've got this at 3. I met up with a buddy of mine earlier today at 10, and we were talking. We go way back since high school, and he came out with like a new jazz album. And I was like,
Nice.
man, that thing was sweet, because I've never heard a jazz album start out with an 808 track on it. I was like, ooh, did I get the right one? But it's like, yep. It's like it definitely not only spoke to the work that he did, but just him being able to elaborate on it earlier, was just talking about um, the griminess and kind of like what part of 2020 was, and kind of coming out of that and really um, embracing the gratitude, embracing the joy, and overcoming.
Yeah, man. I agree 100%. And it's good to utilize the tools that are around us in order for us to stay on track. I mean, I'm the same way. My C on the disc assessment is so low that like if I don't write it, I'm gonna forget about it.
Right.
So like, I have a prayer journal, I have a gratitude journal,
Mm-hmm.
and so like if I don't use those, and as well as doing the motions of thanking God, I'm focusing my energy and giving my energy to people,
Mm-hmm.
then my day ends so low.
Yeah.
Versus if I did, I end so high and I'm like pumped up, at the end of the day, ready for the next. So it's good that you're doing that, man. Like it's
Thank you.
Super helpful, I mean, especially to stay on top of our goals and things like that, especially as a business owner, for me, if I don't write it down,
it's not going to get done.
What I mean? And I'm just like super focused on what I need to do. So like, it can get lost, and I don't want to, lose things in translation. So
True.
That's why like it's super important for, me to write it down, and I'm happy to see you write it down too.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny for me. I'm like, when I took the disc assessment on different occasions, I've scored higher on the S. And one thing that I've learned about the disc, using it the proper way versus how other people might interpret it, is that it's a snapshot of you in that moment. And whether you're,
it's in that one moment. You're right.
Right.
Exactly right.
And it's like, whenever you take it, it's like, just because that's what it shows, you have to understand like another part of it that I was able to take, which deals with the why and the what, because it's like, if you think about the disc, it's like this beach volleyball that's kind of floating on the water. And you're like, oh, wow, that's a nice, pretty shiny thing. It's talking about how you behave and what your preferences and tendencies are. But it's like, you have to understand that there's something else anchoring that down. And if somebody similar to, like we were talking about with teachers labeling autistic kids or labeling people to say, oh, you're never going to amount to something, it's like, that's pretty harsh. It's like, what audacity do you think you have to tell me what I'm going to be or what I'm not going to be? Like, you're not God. You're like, you didn't create me, or like something of that sort. But like, although I said all that to say, although I score high in that regard, some people, they say like they're savants, they're geniuses, they're this, they're that. For me, I understand that I have to write things down because otherwise I'll forget it. Like, and otherwise, if I don't forget it, it may just be bothering me all day because it's just spinning in my head. And I think maybe where my friend got this to introduce it to me was through Tim Ferriss, who's like one of the early adopters of podcasts, where he talked about trapping your monkey mind, where it's like you have all these ideas just running through your head. And sometimes if you just jot them down on a piece of paper, you just do like a word vomit, like everything you're thinking, misspelled, wrong, indifferent, whatever, just spilling all those things out on a sheet of paper. It helps to kind of trap whatever you have in your head in a 2D space to where you have a chance to really put that there and then forget about it, to where if you need to revisit it and if it was that important, you come back to it and you read it like you would read a book and just be like, oh, okay, this is just some garbage. Like, I don't need that. Like, and then that way it's like you no longer have to continue carrying it with you throughout your entire day. And it's not draining you mentally. It's not pulling any like emotional baggage or anything like that with you.
Oh yeah. And to be honest, before I took the disc assessment, I thought I was like a super high I, right? And like a mixed D.
Yeah.
But the moment I learned that I was a high S and I focused my energy to now not be seen, but to help others.
Yeah.
Man, my life has been blowing up.
Makes a world of difference.
World of difference. You know, I mean, that's why I'm so thankful for, you know, the flight assessment that ET and all them using the disc assessment. I'm glad they use it because I would have never used it if they didn't. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that really helped me be able to be 120, you know. And what's even doper is that like my disc assessment, like, you know, my adaptive, my natural, my adaptive is high S or high I, and then high D as well too. So like when I was talking to Mufasa, literally told me that like I need to learn how to turn on each personality type when needed, know how to activate it when I need it, when I'm with certain people in order to meet them where they are. And because I've been learning how to do that, bro, my relationships have been getting better and better and better and better, you know, in all fronts, you know. So even with my family, like my dad's a high D. He's super authoritarian and like, you know, he's kind of like that. I'm not like that.
Right. But at least now you know, whenever you're talking to dad, it's like, hey, it's about business. Like we're getting this done.
Results.
Right.
Yeah, get it done. Results. You know, short, quick, bop. You know, for me, I got to tell him the backstory, why I didn't. It's like, no. He don't want any of that.
He's like, did you get it done or not? Like, I don't want to hear no stories. I don't want to hear no problems, no complaints. Like, do you have a solution? And
and I know, and I also know that the way that my dad speaks in that D language, and most Korean parents, their way of showing love is to tell you about the negative things that you're doing. A lot of immigrant families are like that.
I was gonna say a lot of immigrants, because I know Toby, you're Korean, Tob's Nigerian, I'm Cameroonian, and it's
his
like
mom's the same way. Her mom's a beast. You should see her with scam callers. So funny. So funny. But yeah, my dad, I mean, me and my dad used to get into it because I never understood why he would talk so negative to me, right? But with the disc assessment, I was able to learn, he's just showing me that he just loves me. But, you know, and he's also telling me things that most friends, right? Friends, quote unquote, will never say to you. you know, the real things. That's like, sometimes you just need to get slapped in the face.
Yeah.
And your
It's
friends
like, come
won't
here
do
for
that.
a minute.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you real quick.
All right. So I'm super grateful for the disc assessment and all those things that those guys have done. But yeah, man, it really helped me learn who I am, and also how to use these 4 personality types so that I can interact most effectively with other people in different personality groups, and like super thankful for that, you know.
That's awesome. The what do you call it? Oh, well, I'd be kind of kicking myself if I didn't ask you this, and I'm sure you've already answered it, but what would you say is something you gained from 2020?
Biggest thing I would probably say, man, I gained so much this year. It's just crazy how you have to get rid of the old stuff in order to be able to receive the new stuff. You know what I mean? Even if your cup has a little bit of the old stuff, it's tainted when you put the new stuff in. You have to like pour all of it out. And so for me, the biggest thing that I gained was getting rid of my old self to become my new self, and being in line with what God wants me to do, with my purpose, to be able to use my gift, and having the team around us. Not only the people I work with at the gym, at the Khango Gym, but, you know, outside of work, you know, my personal friends that I have around me at all times. My 4 wives, I call them, is 4 girls that I lived with. Most supportive group of friends, most loving, caring, thoughtful, considerate human beings I've ever met in my life. And, you know, I'll always support them no matter what. They call me Big Daddy in public. It's super funny to see their reactions around everywhere. But like, you know, like I only have nothing but love. They're all my sisters, you know. I call them my wives, but they're really my sisters, really. And I'll do anything for them. And so the things that I did gain, not only that stuff, but also finding myself, really. That energy depression really kind of messed me up. So being able to, one, revert back to the disc assessment and being able to find myself in the things that make me happy, man. Right now, I'm the strongest I've ever been, the happiest I've ever been, most fulfilled I've ever been, the most grateful that I've ever been. You know what I mean? And this is just the beginning. It's only 3.5 months in of like my workout and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, 2020 really showed me that, like, one, I gotta be in line with what God wants, because God won't bless you until you start doing the things that he wants to bless you for. You know, if you're not building favor by being a good human being and helping his people or the people around us, right, or that come into our lives, then he can't. You know, you're not gonna give a gift to a kid that's acting bad. You know what I mean? Like, that don't make no sense. So like, why would God do that? You know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's really the clarity, as well as being more in line with what I gotta do in order to take my life up through what God wants me to do, is probably the biggest thing that I've been able to gain as myself. And then, of course, you know, I gained Max Level RX, which is my physical therapy rehab company, you know, helping people, athletes, anyone be able to reach their physical max level performance and stay there, and even go beyond that, you know, for these athletes. You know what I mean? So those are probably the biggest things that I gained this past year. But it wasn't an easy journey. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? Like going outside every day, 2 hours in heat advisory weather here in Houston, which is like 10, sometimes it's 95 to 105 is the range heat wise temperature, and the humidity is always above 85. Always. You know what I mean? So I mean, we got this natural God-given sauna, so I'm cool, but it's tough, you know?
Right.
But I mean, right now I weigh 125.
Wow.
I was 160 last March, man. I mean, and now I'm starting to gain weight. Bruce Lee was 135 pounds, so I'm trying to go there, right there. Right. And so yeah, man, I'm working away, chipping away. Even this week I deadlifted 315 and I weigh again 125.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could never do this 4 months ago.
Mhm.
And then today I'm benching 135, 145.
That's
You know,
amazing. Yeah.
that's crazy to me, because I was, again, never able to do this. But consistency, discipline, being in line with what God wants you to do, aiming to be a good human being to
Yeah.
those around you and just to yourself, making sure you maintain a relationship with God, the world, and yourself.
Yeah.
Man, the world, literally, you can manifest anything like a mustard seed, man. All you got to do is believe, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's probably the biggest things I gained this year, man.
That's awesome. It's like, I guess it really speaks to now with you saying that, it makes it clearer in my head when I hear be a good steward, like
Yeah.
be faithful with what you've been given. And what's funny, it's just that it doesn't, like, you don't really know something until you're able to practice it. And I'm very grateful for you and to you for being not only someone that's like in the doctorate profession, but actually practicing the things that you teach and that you're able to do for other people. You're applying to yourself because, like, you've probably heard this and you've probably seen this where it's like, it's very disheartening or sometimes it's concerning to see like your doctor's not healthy or not in the best of ways. And they're sitting here telling you, oh, yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that. And they're kind of looking at you one way or another. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, I don't know if I trust you necessarily because, like, I'm sure you went to school, you learned the information, but your outer appearance doesn't match your inner. But of course, I know now, and I guess I'm getting better about not judging people on the first appearance and things like that because it's like I don't know what they could have going on or not going on. So it's like, hey, just
Oh, yeah.
take everything with a grain of salt. But I applaud you for applying yourself fully in what you study and what you practice and what you apply.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, man. And what I'm super thankful about my knowledge too is that, like, I'm working out crazy with these guys almost 7 days a week, right?
Man.
I know what to do to fix myself.
Right. Whenever you said that, I'm like, hey, more power to you. Right now I'm doing one day and maybe running one day. And it's like, that
Oh
works
man.
plenty for me because it's like I'm understanding my pacing and what I need to do to where it's like, okay, in this period, in this season of time, like do these things and maintain like the basics. And even like recording, I remember when I started out, I almost recorded like 40 episodes or 40 sessions within like the first 5 or 6 months. And it was just like, whew, like a lot. That's a lot. But like now, fast forwarding to 2020, I'm like, okay, well, I think it makes sense to just do it one day, do it Saturdays. And then if I can do 1 to 2, hey, that works because you still have a backlog of content you can put out. But more importantly, it's like I'm taking care of myself and hopefully taking care of the people to give them my full attention, like give you my full attention while we're here and really do my best to highlight you and just be like, hey, like, go check out Dr. Kim. He's the guy.
Anybody in Houston, man, Max Level RX inside of Khango Gym, man. That's kind of where I'm repping. But
Nice.
man, I appreciate those words, man. That's definitely for sure. And God is good is really all I can say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before we sign off, let the people know how they can find you, either like you just said offline, but online to get in touch with you.
For sure. Online, for the gym that I'm at, it's called the Khango Way, at Khango, the Khango Way, KHANGO WA, like Y way, is the gym I'm in. This is literally the best trainers inside of the best gym, with the best energy here in Houston, hands down by far. Okay. And that's the gym. My company, my physical therapy rehab company, is at Max Level RX. Okay. So MAXLEVEL RX. You can find me there. I just started a actual physical therapy IG for me, and that's at PT.ninja. Okay. That'll be the next PT Ninja. And yeah, man, find me at those spots and we'll be able to, help people really do what they do. at the best of their ability. And man, even for your brother too, man, let me know if you need some, information about physical therapy. I'm a big advocate for PT, man. So any students or any people that are inquiring, I mean, we recently try to hook up kids that are trying to get into PT school with observational hours and let them see what we do so that they can learn our style as well too. Nice. I'm also a cash PT, so it's a little bit different than the insurance base, right? Because the insurance based PTs, they're only limited to do the things that insurance will cover. Okay. They will never do anything outside of the box, which is so crazy, even though that's not going to help. Right. But it keeps them there so you can get paid. In a capitalistic healthcare system, it's a little bit tough, right? Yeah. If they really cared, we'd look at preventative stuff, really. But I mean, that's a whole different soapbox. But for me being a cash PT, I can focus on providing different things that non-traditional therapists cannot do. And for me, it's really nice. I give them one base price, and I can do anything I want. Nice. I mean, I'm not just going to give you everything if you don't need it, right? But I can use my own clinical judgment as well as all my school knowledge that I've used and stacked up, and be able to really really go in and provide things like the Indiba machine, which is the stem cell, deep frequency healing machine. I can do things like grass and dry needling, cupping, as well as, sports manual therapy work on specific muscles. But yeah, we have a whole different protocol. Of course, we utilize the traditional, but we also now incorporate the non-traditional, because we're not stuck by, insurance is only going to pay for this. Bruce Lee says always, he says it the best, accept what is useful, reject what is not. Right. So it's all about finding what works, because results at the end is really what matters. Right. And how we execute it as a doctor really matters as well too. So yeah, man, just super grateful for that. But yeah, man, feel free to contact me for any type of PT information, for rehab, or how to just take yourself to the next level, really.
Well, dude, look forward to staying in touch and seeing what comes up next in this second quarter and the rest of the year.
Hey, man, sky's the limit, my friend. Just keep hustling and working, man, and we'll have a amazing garden one day. Watch, man. I already know it's already starting to flourish. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to see what the time with consistency and discipline is really gonna flourish, man. Because I expect some crazy things.
Right.
For the both of us, really. You know what I mean?
Well, it was a pleasure to speak with you. Take care, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Yes, sir. Khango way.
Nice.
Take care, brother. Have a good one.
You too.
This is the It's My Time podcast with Tchoua.